a few Goldilock Bears podcast with Vincent Cloud.
And me, John Nemitz, the guy who introduces Scott Allwood.
Hey, not on me. I'm trying to get in on me. Here we are. This is me, the guy he just introduced.
Well, it would be rude if you didn't introduce the next guy,
I was
Scott.
about to, Vince. Give me a second. And we also have a nice fella by the name of Dave.
All right, that's me. I was a little worried there, but yeah.
And this is the show where we talk about our loves, our hates, and our indifferences. But before we do any of that, we start off with a segment where we talk about old topics. And it's called the Deja Fuse. Take it away, Scott.
Well, thanks, Vince. I would like to talk about a past episode where you talked about sign language. Now, I've always wanted to know sign language, but never made any real effort to learn it. I know this one. That's for all the viewers. Little kisses.
Well, please explain to our listening audience what you just did to us.
What? I kissed the audience. I wasn't kissing you guys.
Yeah, but no one. Oh my God. The
movie.
Listening audience, Scott. Remember, this is also a podcast on a website where they don't get the visuals.
The John
really?
who's hearing this in their ears right now.
I didn't realize that was even an option. That's fun. But yeah,
you should go to www.afewgoldilockbears.com for links to all the podcast apps.
And it's just audio from there?
Sure.
What? It's either no question.
Yeah.
Yeah, only video. If you guys want to see our beautiful faces, you got to go to YouTube, motherfuckers, and there you will see our great backgrounds: a leaf, houses, tie-dye, and a spare
David
bedroom.
a ceiling fan.
A ceiling fan.
Yeah, ceiling fan.
Yeah, so if you're just listening, go to www.afewgoldilockbears.com for a link to the YouTube channel.
Oh my gosh. They have everything on this website.
Whoever designed it must be pretty handsome.
But you wouldn't know until you go on YouTube and then guess out of the four of us. Not by handsomeness, but by like who would have the power to put up such a website. All right. You know what? That's enough Deja Fuse. Should we get our show started?
Man, I'm already
Scott, let's get to the episode, Scott. Come on.
No. I mean, anything else involving sign switch? Any follow-ups?
Can you teach me some right now? What does this mean? The little caterpillar?
What did you just describe to us? Again, the listeners.
Oh, yeah. I put my pointer finger out and then moved it along the screen with my thumb jumping up and down a little bit. It sounds stupid, but if you watch the video, it looks super cool. Oh, my God. Let's move on.
No. And before, when he said, "This is the sign I know," he basically placed his hands over his lips and blew kisses. Oh, did you?
So many times.
Oh my gosh. I didn't hear that.
It's because you're in that leaf.
Yeah, that's true.
Definitely in there.
Was that offensive what he did? Like, is that the equivalent of going up to your Asian friend and being like, "Hey, ching chong bing bong, what did I just say?"
Because of the sign language thing.
Yeah, you did a sign and you're like, "What does this mean?"
Yeah, that's why I wanted to bring it up in the Deja Fuse or whatever you call it, because I hate sign language, and whoever does it, I guess it would be mainly deaf people.
I have no. Okay, please explain what you did though when you were like the finger and then the thumb. Were you shooting?
I don't know. That's why I was asking you if it means anything.
I've never seen that before. I just
it's not a sign. Maybe we can make it one of ours. Like we can make it for our little Goldilocks gang. Guys?
I think it's like a move on to the next podcast.
Oh my gosh.
The next topic.
All right, well, let's get it started.
Fans out there, next time you see us on the street, make the sign.
Heck yeah.
And for those of you listening, do your best job to imitate it based on the description of it.
God. Let's get a topic started then. Who wants to go first? Any takers?
I'll go. And I want to talk about something that makes me so angry I shake. And it's the hate of mine that I would like to speak of, and it's shirtless sleeveless shirts. Shirtless, sleeveless shirts.
Shirtless sleeves.
Just some sleeves on the ground. You're like, what?
You guys want to know why I don't like them?
Would love to.
Yes.
I would
Because
love.
it doesn't feel comfortable, and it's stupid. You're welcome. Thoughts, guys?
Why is it stupid?
Dave, do you like sleeveless shirts?
No, I hate them. My arms get cold.
Yeah.
Like what? Like not just shirtless or sleeveless shirts, but like vests. All vests. Terrible. It's like a coat with no sleeves. Like, what is this?
Oh my gosh. All right, it's starting to make sense. But what do you mean? You said it's stupid, Scott. Like, explain why it's stupid.
Explain
For the
why
stupid.
it's stupid. Because it's sleeveless and your arms are open to more mosquito bites.
Oh my
friggin'
gosh.
hate those. That's my next week's hate.
Mosquito bites.
Oh yeah.
And sunburns.
Sunburns also. Thank you. I was about to mention that. I've got so many reasons why I hate sleeveless shirts. Dave's got my back. Vince, what do you love? Sleeveless shirt?
This was my take on it. I didn't think in terms of guys. I thought of girls. I love it when they wear, girl shoulders.
All right,
Yeah,
pervert,
thank you.
calm down. I'm talking personal level. Me versus a sleeveless shirt. No thanks. Because I'll win. I'm gonna.
Is that a glue gun or scissors? I have no idea.
A little bit of both.
It's an all-purpose tool. Does it bother you to see other people wearing them, or do you just not like them for yourself?
It's really just a personal thing. It's a personal preference. One of my buddies wears them all the time. Actually, he just wore them on our podcast, and actually, I'm quite mad about it. No, I just like this. Like, who wants to see this?
Oh, the guns. Well, that's one thing though. I don't
like wife beaters. The white shirts that are
we don't call them that anymore, Scott. Hashtag canceled.
white buddies.
White buddies. What is that actually called? An undershirt, right? Is that what it technically is?
An A-frame undershirt?
A-frame? Okay.
Heard that. I don't know if it makes sense or if that's right, but it's a term.
But he's heard it.
I would wear sleeveless shirts if I had the arms for it. If I start lifting again, I'd probably do that. But then I'd feel like a big titted chick who wears low shirts all the time for no reason. I'm like, this isn't appropriate. You're at a funeral. You know what I mean? So
Sleeveless shirt at a funeral. Oh my god! Hey guys, where's the dead body?
You mentioned vests at like all these like tech bros and stuff. I'll wear these like Patagonia vests over like a long sleeve button shirt, and they're just like the dumbest things.
I feel like you'd look good in a vest. You could pull that off.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
I
can
feel
you
like-
go real quick so I can know for sure?
I think you should pull off that vest. It looks stupid. Okay. So everyone here, well, except for me, I'm not against it. I didn't realize there was so much hostility. John, have you said if you're pro or anti?
I'm indifferent. I can imagine on a hot day wanting to like roll up my sleeves and just let 3 more inches of skin feel the cool air.
As long as you put a carton of smokes in there, man.
All I was imagining too. My dad used to do that all the time.
Oh yeah. Um, menthol cigarettes might be banned soon. Just to throw that out there. All I imagined as soon as I heard that, I was like, there's gonna be a shitload of people who are gonna go through withdrawals, right? I mean, that's fucked up.
Oh,
Speaking
yeah.
of cigarettes.
My grandma is 79. She smoked cigarettes since she was 16, and she tried quitting once or twice, and you told me herself she turned into a huge bitch. And her husband, who has since passed, my grandpa, I guess, was like, "Could you start smoking again?" Like that's all
Whoa.
he got. That he was like, "Nah, here's some cigarettes. Smoke up. I'll be
Oh,
in the
shit.
other room until you get better."
Damn. All right. Well, next topic. Segment challenge, I mean.
Segue challenge.
Segue challenge, yeah. Um, let's feel the cool breeze of the next topic coming in
Let's
on our
cut this
shoulders.
sleeveless conversation off, or sleeved card. Just forget it.
Let's
All right.
sleeve this conversation for another
Ooh,
one.
I like
I'll
that.
segue from Scott's struggle to understand the relationship of his grandparents to each other and go with my indifference, which is genealogy or study of one's ancestors. So I've taken that up as a hobby recently. Kind of just by chance, someone sent my dad some information about like his ancestors, and he forwarded it on to me, and that kind of like struck a chord with me. And I'm like, oh, I think it would actually be kind of cool to like learn where everybody came from in Europe and all that, and started doing research. And I love it because like it's like addictive, like finding information, puzzle solving. Actually, I was at the library, and they have like a librarian there whose job is to help people like learn about how to do genealogy and stuff. And she's like, it's a great hobby for people who love problem solving and proving other people wrong. I'm like, yeah, that fits very well. Um, so like I've figured out like all of my great great grandparents, who they are, and I think a set of great great greats. Um, I've figured out like like everyone who came over to America. Sorry, Vince. And like mostly,
Oh,
and for the most part, like which boats they came over on, like the name of the ship and stuff, which is pretty cool. But then I've been mostly stuck since there. Like I found a couple of the names of the cities they were from. Turns out I'm a Pomeranian, which I had thought was only a dog until recently.
I was going to say, like, are you part dog? I don't understand.
But I always thought my family was German, and like my ancestors definitely spoke German, but the area where they came from is now part of Poland. So like Pomerania is like halfway in Germany, halfway in Poland.
So did you
And
become indifferent to it because it was so exciting at first that eventually you just weren't getting as much information? So now you're kind of like, oh, well, that was fun for a hot second, but now it's whatever.
yeah, so the puzzle solving and stuff is really fun, but where the indifference comes in is I was like, okay, I'm kind of stuck here for now. Like I have some ideas I can try to like go back further, but maybe I'll go the other way. Like let's take my oldest living, or not living, my oldest ancestor I know of, and try to trace all their descendants like going forward. So like, who are all my like cousins and fourth cousins, and everything I could track down. And um so like I was like, well, let's get on like Facebook and stuff and like see if we can find these people. And it turns out like I hate most of the people I'm related to. So that's where the indifference comes in. Um, like I shouldn't be surprised because,
Did you
I
reach
have
out
very
to them?
little in common with my like direct family and like have very differing political and religious opinions from them. But yeah, like all my family is like a bunch of them moved to like Wyoming and Montana and the Dakotas and Alaska and like all have like political beliefs, so what you would expect for frontiers people. Is that a nice way to say it? Like
You just listed off a bunch of places I would love to move to.
but the strongest example I have is like one of my second or third cousins married someone who was indicted for involvement in January 6th.
Oh, yes. Terrific.
I'm like, oh, I didn't need to know that kind of stuff.
So it's
So
not
they
necessarily the
like, I'm seeking that person out. They're famous.
Oh,
It was on the TV.
yeah.
so you're more proud of your past in terms of your ancestry than you are of the present state of the Nemets or Nemets.
I don't even know if like proud of it is right. It's just like fascinating to me because like, now that I know a couple of the cities, like I totally want to go to Poland and like just like visit the place where they came from. And um like I guess there is some pride of Pomerania because they were one of the last parts of Europe to go Christian when like they stayed pagan while like everyone around them was like being taken over by Christianity. So I think that's kind of cool. But
Whoa.
other than that, I don't know.
Yeah, those little dogs, they don't like to be converted to anything. Have you guys looked up your ancestry at all? 23andMe, that sort of shit. Is that kind of the same thing?
I did a
It can be.
ancestry.com. Yeah, like I was always told that like my dad's side was German and my mom's side was English. And then I did the ancestry.com and then it's like the number one thing it said I was Irish. And I was very disappointed in that
Oh my
because
God.
I don't really know many Irish people other than like the stereotypes of like leprechauns and um
Leprechauns?
like like
Warwick
Conor
Davis?
McGregor is a very famous Irish guy who's like just the worst personality in the world. I don't know. They're all just kind of drunk assholes, and I'm like, I don't want this to be me. But due to the inaccurate like DNA sequencing or the them needing to fine tune stuff, they like updated it like a couple years ago, and now my number one thing is I'm Scottish, which I mean I think it's better than Irish, but I'm not really sure.
Jesus.
I'm
Take
not
that,
really
a
happy
nation
with
full
that
of
either.
people.
That's what bothers me about it. How can they just, I don't know, they're like, yeah, we're so good at this, we're selling it. You're Irish, bud. 2 years later, turns out, fudged up, you're Scottish. It's completely different.
Yeah, and like I haven't even done a DNA test because one, I'm skeptical of them, and two, I'm paranoid about having my DNA out there.
Yeah, because of all the murders. I
Yeah, exactly.
ninth grade, my history
You know
teacher
that
wanted us to do this assignment where they were like, hey, ask your parents, ask whoever where you come from. And I asked my mom and I was like, do you know anything about, because I was living with her for this 6 months. And she was like, Kentucky. And I was like, what? Okay, well, that was no good. I got an F, guys, on that paper because I write it because all she told me is she thinks we're from Kentucky. And what was that going to be my paper? I hate genealogy because of this.
Well, now's your chance to redeem your grade school self, and
Go figure out what I actually am.
yeah, and then send it to your teacher and be like, "How do you like me now?"
Mic drop.
Well, let's see here. My mom she's always constantly reminding me that, oh, your cousin son of this person's father of this person or whatever. It's a big thing. It's almost like in the medieval times, they're like, oh, here is Vincent, son of Foster, Lord of the Rings sort of
Mhm.
thing, So that's kind of like how you're introduced or you speak about people. It's like son of that sort of thing. So that's kind of interesting. I don't know how far back we know about our ancestors. I could probably just hit up my mom for that information. She also gave me a book years ago because she was adopted by a white family called the Crows, and I always thought that was hilarious that like a Native American, with a typical Native American last name is adopted by white people, but those white people are called the Crows. Yeah. But what's so funny though, I read the book and they spell their name Crowe because back in the day, one of the crows was a horse thief, like almost kind of famous horse thief. And they're like, oh, we want to disassociate with him, so we're going to add an E to our last name. So that's pretty crazy. That's interesting to me.
Yeah, I love that kind of stuff too. And like, so I've been like looking through like census records and birth and marriage records and death, all this stuff. And I've seen like 5 different ways that like my last name was spelled. Like, not that they necessarily changed it that many times. It's just like whoever was writing it down didn't care enough to ask like, how do you spell that?
Oh my God. That's funny. Um, Yeah, I think it's interesting. I mean, like I said, I grew up just hearing it, whether I wanted to or not. They're like, if you see anyone new, even someone old, I'm like, I've met this person thousands of times. Like, yeah, but she was the daughter of. I'm like, okay, mom, like, she, but that's fine. I'm sure I'll try and keep up that tradition somehow. Yeah.
Yeah, and so far I've been mainly looking at my dad's side because I know people on my mom's side have already done a lot of the work. But I like just looking at her her grandma being of English lineage. Like I have no idea if this is accurate or not, but on one of the genealogy websites, someone has her as part of a family tree that goes back to like the 1200s, like in multiple branches, which is insane because like, I'm getting stuck in like the 1800s with people from Germany.
Holy shit. Doesn't it seem like the women are the more interested in conserving the past and stuff and remembering? It seems like dudes are just like, I don't care. I'm just gonna live and die. You know what I mean? As long as you take my last name, that's what I'm gonna contribute to the family. You know what I mean? I think women are more interested in like, hey, remember this and stuff like that. I don't know. That's how I view
I
it.
think
Yeah, I what's that, Scott?
women just have better memories. Guys would listen, I would love to pass on whatever knowledge, but in one, out the other.
Yeah, I
What,
wouldn't remember
what are we
anything
talking
if I
about?
wasn't documenting it. Like, oh yeah, my dad's name is let me check.
Uh, Segway challenge. Uh, hmm.
Branch off of this tree to a new topic.
I say Dave go. Dave, Dave.
Uh, I am indifferent to like the clothing I wear or fashion or styles in general. I'm I'm just like I don't care, and I never have like about like style. I don't know. I've never been a stylish person,
Your
and I
wife
just don't.
dress up then? Is it like a special, do you ever do it for like special occasions
Well,
for
like
her
I
benefit?
I am about like dressing up and like wearing like more formal clothes when necessary, like for like Thanksgiving or Christmas or like going to church or like
Just
going to
when
a
you
funeral. I want to dress nicely for that stuff, so I will like put on something other than blue jeans. But like that's really the only thing that I do, because other than that, like I don't care if I have stylish blue jeans or not. I'm just like, as long as they're not like too skinny of jeans, I'll wear them. Like for shirts, like I just want it to be like a plain shirt. I don't like logos because I feel like that's like me advertising a brand, and I don't like that. So I always just want blank t-shirts.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. Like I don't care about like what other people think, which has its negatives and positives. But I try to not look like a slob. But other than that, I'm not going to put a whole lot of effort into my styling or fashion that I wear. It's more just like, is it comfortable? Like, I like sweatpants. I like shirts with sleeves on them. Uh, I like hooded sweatshirts. And I like warm, fluffy socks that keep my feet warm. Like, other than like, I generally don't wear sandals or flip flops because they're not comfortable. I'd rather have like running shoes. I'll just wear running shoes everywhere because they're comfortable on my feet.
I'm with
Yeah,
you.
that's
I really like the idea of just having plain everything with no logos, any of that nonsense. I mean, I have like a Chucky t-shirt that I bought on a whim, but typically I honestly don't want attention brought towards me from strangers. Like it's nice that they go, "Oh, hey, I like your shirt," and it strikes up a conversation or whatever, but I'm with you in terms of just I like plain, like even when it comes to like polos or something, like please just don't put that stupid little emblem here. Like we don't need it.
Wait, what do you got
So
on your shirt right now? You have something on. What is that? Oh,
It's a it's a middle finger, Vince. Do you like it? No, this is an old work shirt.
I do like it because you explained to our listeners what you just did.
Yeah, that's why I did it. That's why I explained it. I'm totally with it now.
Oh my
So
gosh.
Dave, you think this fashion stuff has nothing to do with you? You go to your closet and you select, I don't know, that ratty gray t-shirt, for instance, because you're trying to tell the world that you take yourself too seriously to care about what you put on your back. But what you don't actually know is that t-shirt is not just gray, it's actually dark ash. You're also blithely unaware of the fact that in 2002, Oscar de la Renta did a collection of gray ash gowns. And, okay, sorry. I was doing the monologue from The Devil Wears Prada.
Oh, okay.
I love
all I knew.
oh,
It was going completely over my head, but I'm like, I'm all here for it. Let's do this.
I was like, why does John start to sound like Meryl Streep? Well,
I
Dave,
thought you were gonna start talking about like a sweatshop in Malaysia and all the kids who work to make this clothing on my back.
No, I think
Like,
they were pro sweatshop in that movie.
oh yeah, for sure. Gotta make that money.
Dave, you mentioned hoodies. Man, I love a hoodie, right? That's fashion style. It's something that hasn't gotten out of Vogue or whatever, you know? I have to say though, remember when blazer jackets came into fashion? Men would wear blazer jackets over their t-shirts. I was into that. I had one. That was the only time I was like, I will join the world in looking like this, even though it was only around very shortly. Yeah.
I never had one, but I was always jealous of the guys who had one simply because they had that inside pocket where they could put their pack of cigarettes. I was like, that's a nice pocket right there. I wish my
Yeah, the
coat
rest
had
of us
a
got to
pocket.
roll up our sleeves and stash
Yeah,
them there.
to show off my skinny chicken arms.
Well, I used to really like, or at least cared about what I wore back in the day. My mom said that even when I was a baby, I would be very particular. She'd be like, "Oh, what about this?" And I'm like, "Yeah," and I wouldn't want to wear that. I'd wear this, you know. And I remember growing up, especially God, nearing high school and stuff, where I'm like, I don't like any of these clothes, you know. Either I was like, this isn't what's in style right now, or I just don't like how it looks on me. I really did care about that stuff. Now, not so much, especially these past 4 years working nights where I'm like, I don't give a fuck who sees me, what I'm wearing, you know. And it's freeing, I guess, but I've have like no clothes, they're all bland and shit. Um,
Can you do me a favor and the next time I'm on a podcast with you, wear that coat? Do you still have it?
the blazer jacket?
Blazer jacket thing.
No, I don't. It's it went out of style. Like I think it was pretty cool to wear for like a couple
You got a
years.
picture of you in one? I'd love to see
A
it.
picture? I don't think so. Yeah, I don't have a picture. Dang it.
Liar!
But okay, so here's another thing though. American Eagle is the only store, and I don't like to shop. Really, even though I like clothes, I don't like to shop. American Eagle had shirts that I liked that hung on me well. I liked the jeans, everything about that. I was like, this works for me. So I actually went to American Eagle more than I've ever gone to a particular clothing store. So I don't know if I can still wear that being a 39-year-old has been. So I don't know.
Did you guys used to wear a lot of khakis? I used to wear a lot of khakis, I realized looking at old photos.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm
Like the khaki shorts with the cargo pockets.
khaki pants. And then it always brings me back to this basketball quote where he's like, we gotta get money, we get khakis, then we get the chicks. I
Love
wondered
that.
if part of me started wearing khakis because of that.
I owned a couple
love
pair,
that.
but I worked at Target, so you had to wear like the red shirt and the khaki pants. So I owned a couple pairs of khakis just because of that, but I never wore it outside of work because I just viewed it as a work uniform.
Okay, again though, I'm thinking female fashion. Now that is what I like. Women have been just so pretty ever since I've been on this earth. You see these things come and go, and they're great. One of the greatest inventions of our time is the yoga pants slash leggings. It's fantastic. I love it.
Gotta be exhausting though, like to have to keep up with that stuff for women's fashion because it like changes so much more than men's fashion does, and like they're expected to wear like a different dress to like different events and stuff and all that stuff. Like can't even.
Can't even. Yeah.
Oh yeah, like the amount of money that you'd have to spend, like just on clothing alone. With the shoes, and then if you're a girl, then your pants, and then your workout clothes, or your leggings, like your casual wear, plus your tank tops, shirts, sweaters, hats. Oh my God.
And
Women,
remember, fellas, they're not wearing it for us.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They wear it for themselves.
Themselves. All right.
All right. Segue challenge.
Segue challenge.
let's slip into some other types.
All right. Okay, I got love, hate, and indifference. I love mental health awareness. I hate haircuts, and I'm indifferent to cats. What do you guys want to hear?
Well, we haven't heard of love yet, but I don't feel like mental health awareness is a fun topic. So let's talk haircuts, baby.
Now I'm interested why you feel so uncomfortable talking about health, mental health so openly, but that's fine. We'll talk about haircuts. I fucking hate them.
Hey,
I grew up
because
my
you
hair.
need one, Vince. You need a haircut.
Yeah, I grew out my hair long. It's super long. It's almost to my ass.
You ever
And
stick it in the crack?
it's almost there.
Back and then stick it in the crack. Be
And then
honest.
and then
Have you
play
ever bent
then
back and
play it
stuck
like
in
a
the
harp.
crack?
Strum it like a harp. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so I didn't like haircuts ever, really. For starting off in life, growing are just Native American, you have very long fucking hair, right? And my mom was very traditional that way. So I'd be like, "Hey, mom, I would like a haircut." People think I'm a fucking girl, She's like, "No, you're Native. Be proud of your heritage. Don't cut it off." And I'm like, "Oh, come on."
Didn't you
But
have short hair as a teenager?
we're getting there, Scott. We're getting there, buddy.
Oh, what's that? Shut the fuck up and let you talk. Gotcha.
So, anyways, she would be like, "I don't want you to cut your hair." And finally, I'm like, "Please, can I cut it?" And she's like, okay, fine, we'll just shave it all off. And so I just had this completely shaved off bald head. And so then I'm like, oh, that's awkward. So I grow my hair out and it grows very quickly. My hair's always done that. And so when I would request a haircut, shave it all off once again. So it's like there's got to be a nice middle ground. So finally, I think around my teenage years, I was like, okay, well, mom, I've worked, I mowed lawn, I can afford to buy my own haircut. And she's like, fine, be a white man. I'm like, oh God, this is not what that's about, but whatever. So you go to get your haircut, and it's the awkward fucking conversation. It's just like, oh, so what are we doing today? Well, they're looking for lice in your hair, you know what I mean? And so it's trying to
I think
create
that
this.
part's normal.
Yeah, that's normal. I know that, but it's just like you know what they're doing when they're like, oh, so
I don't think
anyways,
they're lice. I think they're just getting your hair prepared.
No, like they put on the rubber gloves. They like
They
have a
put the old man
tweezer.
A special blue comb.
so- okay. Anyways, it's like, if you don't go to the same haircut person, that's pretty rare, right? Even if you go to the same place, someone else is going to be there cutting your hair. Then you got to try and like strike up a conversation or whatever, which is not my favorite thing to do. Um, and then what I always hated was that they're like, so what do you want? It's like, what do I want? I don't know. They're like, oh, pick out a picture. But I'm like, I don't know if that'll work for me because I have a particular shaped head, and that's what they teach you in salon school. They're like, these go with this sort of face, like I have a square like face. So like the same haircut on Dave, that fucking egg head over there. Yours more traditional shape. I'm not saying it's egg. Yours is more traditional, Dave.
Dave
Your
is currently
haircut.
touching his face and pushing his hands around his head. So viewers are aware. Or
And,
listener.
and Scott is comfortably laid back in his seat.
I'd rather be an egghead than a potato head. So
No, dude, no, I'm saying I'm jealous of that. I don't envy. Yeah, this is a terrible head. This is huge. Like I said, I was talking about hats because it's too huge. I also can't wear glasses because my one ear is higher than the other.
Why don't
Sucks.
you just ask for the same person? Just ask to see the same person you went to last time and get like a bond with that person and just always ask for them and see when they're available. I've had the same barber for 5+ years and I found someone who just cut my hair so well and I like how they cut it. Recently cut. I'm showing it off, listeners, but currently not. And I just
For the listeners, Scott is putting his non-egg shaped head up to the camera and pointing at his hair.
I
I
felt
regret.
personally attacked.
a haircut. Hey, there was this one time when I was watching the Battle of the Challenges podcast and your hair was longer and it was like swooshed over a bit. And I was like, that's a sweet look for Dave. And then now you don't have it. So just know I hate your face, Dave. No, I'm kidding. But for whatever, because I think I recall you saying you don't like your hair long either. And I thought it was a good look on you.
Yeah, I tried it out longer, like a year or two ago. And I wasn't having it. But I've gone to the same barber for like the last 3 years, and I can honestly say we've never had like a conversation about anything.
Oh,
It's
wow.
it's just like, hey, how you doing today? Good. What are the numbers again? I'm like, 1 on the side, 5 on top. All right. And then I
Oh,
just sit there in silence. He cuts my hair, and then I give him I don't know, $25 or $28 if I'm feeling like giving him a good tip. But
Do you prefer the not talking?
yeah, he has. I don't know. He's got good taste in movies. He always has like a movie playing on the wall. And like I was watching The Mask last time I got a haircut, and I'm just like laughing at The Mask. It's great.
Oh, anyway, back to your terrifying horror story of haircuts that you had, Vince.
oh, I'm just saying. Okay, so eventually, in my 20s, I would get my hair cut, but again, it grows so fast. Like no fucking joke, where it's like, what's the point? Like, even if I get a nice haircut, I'll have to come back pretty goddamn quick because it looks like I didn't after a while. And so that just got expensive and annoying. And before grew it out, and it's been like 4 years now. I met a woman who would show up at your house and cut your hair, and that was pretty sweet. But I don't know. I just decided to grow it out because again, it's just the cost. It's how often it happens. But outside of that, I think it's just a personal thing. I think if it didn't grow so much, I might enjoy haircuts more. But yeah, it's long now. I don't mind it. I like it.
I've
Uh,
adopted a 2-year cycle because it takes about that long for my hair to get long enough that I can donate it. So basically, I just yeah, get my hair cut, donate it, wait for it to grow back long enough to do that again, and the cycle continues. So I'm 1 year in right now, so halfway there.
Yeah, so be
John, I don't know if
sensitive,
you've looked
guys.
at my I don't know if you've ever looked at my hairline, John, but I am accepting donations.
What about Scotty Two Stacks over there?
Well, I mean,
You
I used to do this whole thing where I would just let it grow for 5 months and it would get pretty long. And I've come to find out that I like it shorter and people tend to like it shorter on me. So now I need to go probably a good every 6 to 8 weeks. I just hit about a 2 month mark where I just got it cut. And I'm very happy with it. But yeah, I pretty much wore my hair a bit longer my whole life and realizing, fuck, I should have been getting cut this whole time. I could have had sex with two people eventually.
Oh man. Yeah, that's haircuts.
Cut
Buddy.
this segment. Let's go to the next topic.
Segue. Let's cut this.
Cut this short.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, but not
Take
too
a
a little
take
off
a
the
little off the
top.
top of this topic, yeah. A little off the topic.
Oh, shit. Back to Scott.
Oh boy, back to me, huh, boys? You want to do the love or indifferent?
Yeah, one of
Uh,
those.
Wait a minute. You love making music and you're in different chocolate milk. I am way more interested in you making music, young man. So let's hear about that.
Okay, dokie. Well, it all started when I was 16 and had a MTV music generator game on my PlayStation 1. It was a lot of fun arranging music and kind of doing that thing. By 20, my buddy had a MacBook with GarageBand, and ever since then, I've been kind of putting out an album in a year, just making all these beats myself, piano, synthesizers, drums, all that kind of nonsense, and then just writing lyrics, getting off the hurt and varying quality, a lot of bad stuff, some decent stuff. Here recently, I have a buddy who actually mixes music. So starting in 2022, the music actually sounds decently put together. So that was a good 14 years after starting putting out albums. But now they sound like of quality, and it kind of becomes like an obsession. I pretty much make music if I'm bored or get sad because it kind of just takes my mind off the world. So I probably have hundreds of demos that are never going to see the light of day, nor should they, because a lot of them aren't great. I mean, if you've heard the stuff that I put out, you got to be like, oh boy, what's the shitty stuff? The shitty stuff. But it's really soothing to the soul. And honestly, like I said, it gets obsessive because I don't listen to a lot of music now. I'm constantly just making music and listening to the music that I make because, I mean, what better way to listen to music and to just create it and then listen to what your own ears made so you enjoy it. So it's just this weird kind of, my music's called Forget Me. It started off as kind of like ex-girlfriend. Oh, boo-hoo. Just forget me then.
Yeah. Yeah, but Scott, okay, now I've known about your musical career for a while, and I have one thing I always want to bring up and have. Is it
Make it
two
better.
words? No, is it two words, forget me, or is it one word, forget me?
It is two words. There was a couple years where I kind of played with it just being like squashed together, but I got away from that. It's two words.
Okay. Are you
So if
sure
you
now? Because
Spotify
Jesus.
or iTunes, it's there. There's the past couple albums. I got two. I'm about to have a third come out on there. We did some acoustic tracks, me and my buddy, of the songs from those albums. It's a lot of fun. It's just so much fun to kind of be creative with someone because he puts a lot of input into the mix and adding certain elements that I would have never thought of. And it's fun to have that back and forth with somebody as opposed to just making it by myself these days. Because now it elevates it to a different level that it could have never become without his help.
So is he, I mean, so when you say adding parts, because I've always found it interesting, in terms of songwriting, because going back to Pink Floyd, Roger Waters wrote like most of the guitar and the drum and lyrics and all that stuff. Is he just like a
Let me
session
give you an
player?
example. I make all the music, write all the lyrics, sing all the songs. But recently, I made a beat to where these bells were playing in the background the whole time with some organ on top of it. Now, you don't necessarily hear the bells unless you're really trying to look for them or listen for them. But so he took a piece of those bells and put it at the very end of the song, which I would have never thought to do because it is a nice little bell melody. And he put it at the very end of the song. So it fades out to just the bells. That would have never happened had I not been collaborating with him. It's a small thing, but it's still a big thing in my mind because it just changes the ending. It maybe makes you a little more aware of the bells to where you probably would try to listen to them for the next time. He's good at acoustic guitar. I had a song where it was like this, it was garage band, so it was like their version of acoustic guitar, and he's like, let me just add guitar to it. And it just made it so much more alive. So these little things that he's able to help bring to Forget Me, it like is to me is and like just what's the word for valuable that it's like
I think that's fine.
Invaluable.
And yeah.
it's just very valuable to me.
Who are your musical inspirations?
Oh my gosh. So I grew up listening to a lot of techno, but then I kind of fell into the pop punk with Taking Back Sunday, Brand New, Jimmy Eat World, Blink 182. So I like kind of basic sounds. He's very intricate in what he does with his guitars. He's very like, and I'm like, no, let's just have like a repeating kind of sound that sounds nice. And then I do like lyrics that are like theirs, and then I'll have like one kind of phrase being repeated up here while I sing additional lyrics down here, which is very much like a Taking Back Sunday kind of feel. But there's a lot of repeating, not a lot, but there are sometimes where I would sing something and then layer it with another set of like maybe lower or higher vocals saying the same thing that I find is just like a fun way it's very catchy in a way, like pop punk is. Um, but yeah, man, have you guys ever made music or been a part of that process? Because it's such a great feeling to start with nothing and then end up with something that you're just singing along with and you're just like put a smile on your face kind of thing.
Well, I think I sent you some of my little sketches, and they're all like 30 seconds long or whatever. But those were so much fun to like, because I have a keyboard and there's, all those little options. And, I grew up with a piano in the house, this big fucking heavy piano, but we barely played it because we were young and, playing was just like, hitting frantically on the keyboards, not really caring. But so I don't think I ever really got to ask my mom, like, hey, teach me some lessons and stuff. And she's like, yeah, there's a lesson. Don't hit my piano. uh, but fiddling on the keyboard is like you said, Scott, just so much fun to go from nothing, and I don't know chords, I don't know fucking the
No, I'm all
keys.
by ear. I don't
Oh,
know
really?
anything about that shit. I've just trained my ears to kind of go, I like the sound of that. And then I've made 15 albums or something with no knowledge of music whatsoever.
Okay, so but yeah, fiddling on that is fun. Have you performed live yet?
Uh, I have not performed in front of people to that degree. We did a acoustic set in my living room that we ended up putting out. That was kind of like my first playing and singing along with it. But I had like my memory's not great. Like previously mentioned, I had to have the computer in front of me with the lyrics to then be able to sing and listen to where he was at playing to know what my own lyrics are. So if I could do that in public, it'd be great, but it would probably look pretty weird.
What about you, Dave?
Um, I think like 20 years ago or something or more, I rented at Blockbuster something for like PlayStation 2. It was like the Sony Music Maker or something. And I had it for like a week and it was really cool. I liked it. I first I tried to make like music, like songs, and then I was like, this is too difficult. I need something easier. So then I would try to make like video game music where it's just like weird sounds and beats. And then I found like the thing that I really like to make was like pro wrestler entrance music where you could just like you just need like a good 25 seconds and then you can just loop it over and over and then that's like their entrance theme. So I would like make these pro wrestler entrance theme music and then I would have my action figures and I would like, walking down to the ring, weighing in at 220 pounds. And I don't know, it would like, I fondly remember that, like making stuff like that. And I've never done anything like it since. But I always remembered like knowing people who like, and you're obviously one of these people who like played one of those games and was like inspired by it because like it had a huge fan base. And I remember like the early days of the internet, in the year 2000, and just people raving about that game and all the things that they would create and then they would upload it onto the internet for other people to listen to.
Yeah, it's a really sweet thing because you could create your own stuff. You could use their loops, or you could literally go in and dissect, copy and paste the notes and move them. It's essentially what GarageBand is now. You can take any instrument, record whatever, and then just move the notes to where they're perfect and change it if you want to. I mean, I would love to know how to play an instrument, don't get me wrong, but this fills that that spot, that itch for me. Scratches the itch.
For the listener, Scott was holding up his hands like he was tweaking someone's nipples.
Damn it, I'm so sorry, listen. I'm so sorry.
John, you grew up with a piano in your house too, right?
Yeah, I've noodled around on that a bit. Actually, one of my memories of like a really fun night I had was at that DEF CON hacker conference I've gone to. After like the after parties and stuff, a bunch of people ended up in this room that just had a piano in it. So we all like took turns sitting on there like two or three people at a time and just like improvising music together, like, trying to make stuff that sounded good with three people playing at the same time. And that was a ton of fun. Other than
Nice.
that, I've never actually I've made up like a bunch of piano stuff that I'll just bang around on if I happen to be at one, but I've never like thought about actually recording anything or anything like that.
The world needs the John Namitz Experience band.
Mm. The name of the band is still in progress.
What was I going to mention about? When I hear the band The Strokes, for some reason I'm like, if they can make music, I can make music. And that's not an insult by any means. I just mean I could hear what they're doing. Like, they clearly thought of this little thing that sounds good, and then they just put that shit on a loop, and they do that a lot throughout all their songs, where I'm like, I think I could do this. And again, it's not an insult. It's just like, hey man, I want to bang away on instrument. Also, when I listen to this is a deja vu where we listen to Tom Waits, that sort of playfulness with the instruments was like, I could fucking do this as well. Or it made me want to pick up my keyboard and start doing shit, Yeah, it's fun. Oh,
And
and
another
also,
deja vu.
yeah.
Scott, how would you feel if somebody sampled your music and then
Um,
used it for their own creation?
they would probably get some more views than I would, so at least my music would be getting out there.
You're a musical cuck. Come on, you gotta stand up for yourself.
And I would say, no, stop it. That's mine. Give it back. Get it out of there. That doesn't belong there. I mean, what can I do? I'm just some random little artist. I could literally do nothing. I would be like, oh, but that was mine.
All right. Well, segue challenge.
Let's beat this drum to a new beat, or I don't know why I'm the worst at it.
Like let's beat this drum like we're beating a dead horse.
I think it's John. Take it to the bridge.
All right. I love the video game series Overcooked. It's like very simple in concept. You're, like this little cartoon guy running around in a kitchen just trying to like cook these dishes and put them out for ordering for the customers or whatever. It's a game that's best played and like probably only ever played. Like I'm sure there's some psychotic people out there who play single player, but it's like really meant to be like a cooperative game. It's like a chaos co-op kind of thing. So like you just have a short amount of time to make a lot of dishes. They put up on the screen like, oh, you need to make, like, let's say you're making pizzas or something, and they're like, this one just needs cheese. This one needs mushrooms and onions. This one needs mushrooms and sausage, and you just have to like create them, put them out in the right order. But
Do you eventually make pizzas in that game?
Can you what?
Do you eventually make pizzas in that game?
Oh yeah.
Okay, because I just happened to be at my friend's house and his wife bought the game while I was there, and we played 4 players on it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Sunday, it was so fun.
Yeah, but like the gimmick is like, so you're a lot of times like you'll be locked in an area and you only have access to like, okay, I have access to the cutting boards and I can serve stuff, but someone else has access to get to the ingredients and to to cook them or whatever. So you have to like pass stuff back and forth. You have to like coordinate. It's like I need you to be chopping these onions so I can fry them so you can serve them. And like my wife and I have played like every single level of Overcooked 1 and Overcooked 2 and like all the bonus levels. And we're just like shouting at each other like, I need some fucking lettuce. Where's the fucking lettuce? Like
You have to do that though, because if you don't, it becomes chaos.
yeah.
Like, hey, you stay in this lane, I'm gonna be over here.
Oh my God, why are there tomatoes everywhere? Like, just all this
I
stuff
need
we're
3
shouting
onions,
at.
not 3 mushrooms. What the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
So it's really like an actual kitchen. Like I always hated that, but it seems so fucking stressful.
It is. It's tough.
God.
Levels, each level creates these different obstacles. Sometimes the board moves. One level that we played, the floor rose up with the cooking stuff up here and the chopping stuff down here. the dishes, the sink was down here because you have to do the dishes after you send them through to customers. So
Yeah,
fun.
and then like some get really crazy. Like you have to like get in a cannon and someone has to like push a button to like shoot you to a different area where you can get different ingredients and like just insane.
If do you ever get, what do you call it? Take backs where like, hey, this steak isn't cooked enough, so you rub it on your balls. Can you do that?
That's probably coming in Overcooked 3, I imagine.
David,
Here, let me warm up that French toast for you.
That's good.
Really good.
So it's not like I thought it might be like Chopped, where like you have to do a dish competing against someone, but no, it's just like a very realistic kitchen scene.
I mean, realistic in that, you move an onion onto a cutting board and you hold a button down and it chops it. But
you're just making onion soup for everybody.
yeah.
All right. Well, I
But
never.
yeah, oh
I
yeah,
don't-
another dynamic is if you leave something on the burner too long, it will start on fire and the fire will spread throughout the kitchen. So every level has like a fire extinguisher in it so that like you can put it out and then you have to like dump the burnt food and like start over and
Well, I never
Just
played this.
imagine you yelling at your wife, "The kitchen's on fire!"
Oh my gosh. You guys say something. I can't hear a thing.
Can you hear
can't
me?
or won't.
Oh, Jesus. You guys were so quiet. I was like, something happened to my audio again. Because it was happening before. Sorry. Okay, so yeah, I didn't play this game, but I like that show Chop, so what's Scott?
Is it just for the Switch or is it on other platforms as well?
Oh, it's on a lot of stuff, yeah. But definitely probably most popular on the Switch just because like you can pass out 4 of those little Joy-Con controllers and play on that because you only need like 3 buttons and the arrow keys.
Segue challenge. There's so much silence.
This topic is overcooked. We need to move on.
I think Dave's up next.
Yeah, okay. So my love is organ donors. I don't know, weird transition. But
I ordered the
know.
liver, well done.
Them organs up.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like I don't have a whole lot to say on the topic other than like when you go to the DMV and you're getting your driver's license, they're like, "Hey, do you want to be an organ donor?" And my thought is like, just say yes, like because when it's your time to donate your organs, you're gonna be dead, so why not do a little bit of good on your way out the door? So I think I don't know. I've heard from certain people that they don't want to donate their organs because they're like, oh, I don't like that idea. That's weird. It's like, what do you mean? You'll be dead when it happens. But they don't like it. And I've had like coworkers say that they would never do it. And then I had to like pry at them. I'm like, why do you not want to do it? Why do you not want to do it? And they would never give me a straight answer. And then I finally got one person to admit why they didn't want to be an organ donor. And
You
that's
might get
because well, some people are paranoid that once a doctor knows that you're an organ donor, they're going to try and do what they can to kill you so
Oh
they
my
can
God.
harvest your organs and sell your organs on the black market. And I think that's ridiculous. I mean, I don't doubt that maybe in other countries and like a third world country, if somebody needs a kidney, they might snatch you in an alleyway and cut it out of your back or something. I don't know. Crazy shit happens. But I don't believe that like medical hospitals in the United States are harvesting organs of people. All right. I think that's kind of
I
ridiculous.
like the idea that there's a doctor who's like willing to let people die and sell their organs on the black market, but like will look at their driver's license like, oh, they didn't check the box. I can't do it
Yeah.
to them.
Well, he
Live,
has
damn
some
it,
moral
live.
compass. Duh.
I just checked mine. Apparently, I am a donor, so please don't kill me, doctors.
Yeah, I'm an organ donor as well. You, John? Do you fit in?
I not only am I donating my organs, but I have bequeathed my body to the University of Minnesota after I die,
Wow, he's
or
truly crossed
whatever
over. He used to
whatever
be a
studies
Wisconsin
they want to
man.
do.
Sorry. Okay, so
My,
yeah, it's
my
all going
grandpa
to
did
Minnesota.
that. Yeah, like the University of Chicago or something. He donated his body to science. Because my mom had to like tell me why we weren't going to his funeral to like and seeing a casket like with his body in it. And they're like, no, it belongs to the university now.
And they're poking it
Whoa.
with sticks. Oh, interesting. Stick this body.
Yeah, like I mean honestly, like this is more so other universities, but like some of the research that gets done is like let's just like put these bodies in different types of like outdoor environments and see how long it takes them to decompose. And then like that's like the research they're doing. Because
They're
like
gonna throw you up in a tree.
it's helpful for solving crimes because like okay, in like a bog, it takes this long to reach this level of decomposition, but in like a dry desert, it takes a different amount of time. So
What do you prefer, John? Being put in a bog or in the desert?
I mean,
I
I
know
don't care, I'll be dead, but
you play along.
I guess I'd go desert.
Yeah, he has more chance of vultures coming along.
Oh man, there
Compare.
was a podcast episode about burial by vulture or whatever, where they put you up in, this is in India with a certain religion. They built these towers and put people up there, and the idea was they would get eaten by vultures. But now there was this new, like, not ibuprofen, but some sort of like over-the-counter painkiller that people were giving to animals, or maybe even people were taking, and the vultures would eat those animals and get sick from it and die. So now there's like not enough vultures anymore for this religion to do their
Whoa.
weird, I shouldn't say weird, but their burial in air or whatever you call it.
Holy shit. Okay, well, I have to mention that I not only would I donate, I'm signed up, but I am eternally thankful for whoever donated their liver to my sister. She had to get a liver transplant recently, and it was crazy because they're like um an anonymous, like you can't know who did it. And that isn't that kind of weird though? It's like I don't know. I wanted to thank that person, although he was like brain dead or whatever in the hospital. But I kind of wanted to shake his vegetable hand. I don't know. I was just like really like, thank you, sir, for helping, you know. But I kind of wish that we could know. It's bizarre.
Yeah, I guess I didn't know there was that secrecy around it.
Yeah, I don't know. It would be like, I don't know. I think that should be allowed, or maybe you can write that down or before you pass away. You're like, hey, let it be known. This is
Like a
Vincent's.
secret choice. As part of me, like I don't like the idea of. I mean, I like the way it is of not knowing. I feel like that's better for everyone involved. I can see where you're coming from, but I do like the idea of them being able to go, yeah, just tell them who I was if they want to visit my grave or some shit. Tell them to stop by, pour a little beer on me or something, leave some
I'm here
flowers.
on Tuesdays.
All right. Yeah. I don't know.
What do you think of like people telling stories about they got a organ transplant and then they started to take on characteristics, and then those characteristics turn out to be something that the other person was like.
Is there really stories about that stuff? I've heard it in like The Simpsons when Homer got that dude's hair transplant. It's like, right, now I'm gonna rob. Shit like that. But that's all.
I
Just
have
Simpsons.
heard of there being stories like that, but I did not lend a lot of credence to them.
All right, segue challenge. Let's remove the the heart of this topic. Throw it on the ground. Me? Is it up? Me?
Yeah, you.
All right. Well, let's
No.
love or indifferent. I love mental health awareness. Indifferent to cats.
Indifferent.
All right. I am indifferent to cats. Now, this
Meow.
isn't, and this is, I'm going to try not to do this, and I encourage you guys not to do this. This isn't about comparing it to dogs. This is just cats, okay? Because that's the one fucking thing. That might be another thing, just cat culture or cat people, right? But we're talking about cats themselves. Now, I've owned cats before, and they're, they could be awesome. Yeah, they can have just as much personality as dogs. You get to know them and stuff.
But we're not
Um,
comparing them to dogs.
oh yeah, that's right. Oh shit. Damn it. Well, what I'm saying is they they could be just, not all cats are the same. Some cats are fucking bitches. As Robin Williams said, they're drag queens. Who loves Kitty? Are those your shoes? Blah. Throw 'em. Um, they're just, full of attitude. Like they're so indifferent to you, like they don't need you there, and they could be very much like that. And I've never really cared for that. There's people who like their cats that way because they're like, oh god damn, I almost compared it, but they love to compare the difference. But it's like, okay, but what do they do for you? It's not like they'll protect you. If you die, they'll eat you, you know? And that's the other thing. It's the weird things with cats where like their shit is bad, most things shit isn't good around you, but there's in particular is pretty bad for you if you're around it enough.
Toxoplasmosis.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's that weird parasite that like gets into mice and makes them like daredevils, and then basically with the goal that they'll then get eaten by the cat, and the cycle continues.
That's so fucked up. Cat scratch fever. I just
You
like
just
the
take
song.
Ted Nugent.
A Nugent fan.
Actually, I'm more of a Stranglehold fan than Cat Scratch, but okay. And then there was that thing where, like, not on purpose, but they suffocate babies. Perhaps you guys heard about that. They kind of sit around and it just kind of happens. I don't think they mean to at all, but that has happened. I think it was alluded
I'm the
to.
baby of the family. Pillow.
Yeah. It was alluded to in Lady and the Tramp, right? With the Siamese cats. I think that was the
There was,
danger, right?
I think there was a character in Catch 22 who was suffocated by his cat. And I remember our buddy Jesse talked about when he had that cat out in the woods where he lives, and he'd wake up and it's like on his face.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, well then it's not just an old wives' tale or whatever. Like I said, I think I've heard of that.
Playing really loud.
Yeah.
They-
He's like,
Oh.
there was no clothespins available, so I had to do it myself. Okay, and then huh?
Well, I was gonna say, like, not to compare cats to dogs again, but I'll compare cats to dogs. If you're gonna go out, wouldn't you rather like die peacefully in your sleep than to be like ripped to shreds by like a vicious dog? I'd rather just have a cat lay on my face.
If you have to die by, oh my God. All right.
If I had to choose one is more preferable.
Yeah, but there's no tales of dogs eating people like that. God. Okay, well,
Kids die every year from like dog attacks.
yeah.
Yeah.
We are not comparing it to dogs. God damn it. Stop trying to move it. Okay. Cat hair. I can't stand it. It's so fine and so thin. I had a cat hair on my eyeball. I was like, why am I itchy? And I looked in the mirror. I'm like, oh, there it is. And I peeled it off. That's so annoying. It gets everywhere. Um, the cat that I know is awesome, but like so goddamn needy. And she wasn't needy at first. You know, where I work overnights and I did it for a couple of years. And then she shows up and all of a sudden, you know, and she was cool. But then someone was like, hey, this cat could go outside or go in the basement. And now she just whines to go outside and then whines to come back in and like an hour later. And it's just, she never fucking sleeps during the night unless I say, go to sleep. This is a
At
smart cat,
first,
by the
you
way.
sounded like Edward Norton complaining about Marla Singer in Fight Club, and then she came along.
Yeah. And the cat's like, I haven't been fucked like that since sixth grade or whatever. Okay, and then super annoying. There's a bald spot of food in the dish, and she's like, "There's no food." I'm like, "There's fucking food, you crazy ass cat. Just brush the food into the spot where there's no food."
This is starting
There.
to sound more like a hate.
Again, okay, yes. See, there's so
Sounds like
many
a
things.
personal vendetta.
It's no, these aren't personal. These are universal things. People that have experienced this with cats is what I'm getting at. Again, I love I love animals, you know. I'm not trying to rag on cats because I know plenty of cat lovers out there. There's a lot of potential ladies who love cats, so I'm not going to diss them too bad because, you know, I got to invest. But like
The ladies are going to hear this podcast and go, "Oh, he just has a cat because he wants to fuck us." Yeah.
not at all. All right.
That's why he showed me all those cat pictures the other day. Trying to get my pussy.
Yeah, I showed you mine. All right. Okay, so and then the fucking, you know, oh, they're like, oh, but Egypt worshiped them. I'm like, okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure cats were like, yes, worship us. There's a really shitty attitude when it comes to cats, man. I don't know. What do you guys think about cats?
I
I feel
relate to
like
cats
Egypt-
because they also hate cucumbers.
Don't they
They
think
do?
they're snakes or something, right? They freak the fuck out.
They're
Yeah,
like terrified and they'll jump 4 feet in the air.
exactly.
Dave, what's your cat's name?
Cleo and Roger.
Oh, you've
Does
got
she have
two.
three?
Yeah. Mr. Kitty. We adopted Mr. Kitty.
We don't talk about the third one.
He doesn't even have a real name.
Mr. Kitty's pretty cool. Cleo.
His name was Kitty, so I just put a Mister on the front of it.
Nah, Kitty, this is my Popeye.
Well, you know, it's kind of like a mental health awareness. I'm just trying to like make him feel important around here.
Assigning him a gender. Terrific.
Hey, nice of you to join us.
Oh, Mr. Kitty. Okay, well, Dave, you obviously like him.
Yeah, I like cats. I mean, but there's stray cats and there's feral cats, and then there's, you know, just your general shitty cats.
Oh my God,
There's-
Dave, don't be alarmed. There's somebody in the house with you. I just saw him in the background. I saw a silhouette of somebody in the fucking background. Be careful. They opened the door just a bit. It might have been a
I'm
cat.
alone right now. There's no one in my house. I don't know what you're talking about. Wait,
Ah. For you listeners, there is indeed a silhouette behind Dave that just appeared. So Scott's not lying.
it's certainly probably my cat. It's Mr. Kitty, I'm sure.
Upright on its hind legs.
He's doing he works from home. He has a lot of, you know, business dealings he works on.
Tied his fur back into a ponytail.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure. Okay, so like with the Egyptians and the cats, like in my head, I always like thought like, oh, it's just like, you know, how farmers have barn cats. Like I'm sure the pyramids had lots of mice running around, so they needed the cats in there to like get rid of the mice.
I could see that.
John, you were indifferent to
Better
pets.
explanation? No.
9. John, you said you were indifferent to pets before. What do you think about cats?
Well, I'm indifferent to them.
Gotcha on that.
I think there's a lot of funny cat videos online that I don't want to take care of one.
Have some of these things that I've said come off as universal truths about cats, and it's not just me hating on a cat?
I think even cat lovers think that their cats are assholes, and that's part of why they love them.
Thank you, John. Oh my God. Okay, so I said before, there's girls who are like, oh my God, I'm a cat lady or future cat lady or
Hey,
whatever.
I'm gonna it's gonna be a nice kitty from here on out. I'm gonna get that asshole to change.
I'm gonna no, I think it's more like, you know, like, hello, you bitch. Like when stupid girls get together, like, oh, you hard, and shit like that. And they're like, the girls have, and they'll admit it, they have girls that like are friends that they don't necessarily like, but they are friends. They're very catty with each other. They feel comfortable being treated that way by humans. So yeah, they'll fucking, of course, it's like, oh, it's familiar coming from a cat. I just think I don't care for it. It's too catty.
Yeah. Like I agree with what you're saying. That one of the like best parts about a cat is their indifference to you. Like they don't love you, they don't hate you. Sometimes they'll snuggle up for a little bit and want to lay next to you, but most of the time they just want to be left alone. But that's the plus side of it is like I don't ever feel guilty because like I'm gonna be gone for a week. My cat's gonna miss me. Like my cat's gonna be fine without me. Like I don't have to be guilty about it at all. But like with other animals, I won't say what, they're a little more
Rabbits.
needy, like emotionally needy, and like I can't handle that neediness because I'm not gonna live up to those standards that they're putting in front of me.
My buddy has 3 of those other pets, and they are constantly up behind nonstop every time. Like if he stands up, they're like, "Where are we going?" Just constantly trying to lick you. Fuck, pets are.
Can these animals be seen in Clinton Folk with Beer
Maybe.
podcast on Scott Allwood's channel, where you could also
There's a moment in this last episode where we're having a conversation and just suddenly these other animals are like in the background and it's fucking bonkers. But yeah, Clint Folk with Beer podcast. We tell weird news, we talk about weird news stories. We see a headline, we don't talk about it or read it until we're on the show. It's pretty fun.
yes.
Can I get
Can
that
you
in
spell that
audio
for me?
format?
No. You got to put up with looking at our faces.
All right, spell the name of it. Clinton Folk with Beer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Clinton.
Yeah, basically Bill Clinton. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, hey man, was that the show? I think we all
Hey, some of us are indifferent to chocolate milk, you dickhead.
we were going to
Sorry.
cover all the topics.
Yeah, I still have a topic as well.
Well, it's been like an hour and 30 minutes. I don't think people want us to continue. They're like, yeah, we've heard enough.
Yes. All right.
Save next time.
Yeah, well, we could do that. So like, subscribe, comment. Also go to afewgoldilockbears.com for all your afewgoldibear.com needs. And this was Vincent Cloud.
Cut that and print it. We're good to go.
And I'm www.afewgoldilockbears.com.
John Nemitz.
John.
He forgot his name. It's fine.
And David
Check my
Lauer.
chart.
Was it
And
right. We are done.